area that we are investing quite a lot recently, and that is an area that we think will unleash a lot of the IoT concerns and potential. So if you look here, this is a Forrester research talking about survey data done on how many companies deployed IoT, and then what is the security breaches. You can see here that 47% of IoT deployments have had some form of security breach. Now, Anil mentioned this morning, the other 53% have probably been breached too. They just don't know about it. And it's not a joke. We truly do say there are two types of companies, those who know they've been breached and those who haven't found it out yet. And I'll show you some of the stats on why is that. At the bottom, you can see the increasing number of threats. So one little secret in this industry that not a lot of people are aware of is where are these threats are coming from. They're coming from a pretty industrialized hackers industry. That is kind of the under the scenes, right? This is the stuff that we don't talk about. But the business opportunity for hackers is $450 billion, estimated to be in the US only, more than $450 billion. There is actually a tariff for how much it costs to steal a patient's healthcare record or Visa card or any other type of information. It's actually a tariff. It's $1 for, I think, a Visa, but it's more for a healthcare record. So this is why the risk is so high, and this is why we're putting a lot of energy in securing it, in building technologies that will allow us to protect against that. It's really
it's a different kind of attack.
Exactly. It's almost like a race. Who's smarter, right? Who's going to outsmart? And it's a very sophisticated race to be in. So really, why is that such a big issue? The big issue is because technologies like IoT, like mobility, like cloud, open up the attack surface. It's much broader. There are more places that attackers can hit that solution or infrastructure. The other big concern is that it takes companies 80 days to know on average, to know that they have been breached. So that's why we're saying you may have been breached and you don't know about it yet. 80 days is the average to how long it takes to find it out. The more painful news is once companies found out that they have been breached, it takes on average 123 days to be able to mitigate and clean up and address that breach. So if you think about those numbers, from the minute you've been attacked to the minute you solve it, it's 2/3 of a year have gone through. And that's why the problem is such a major problem. So what is Cisco is doing? Oh, one more complexity. On top of that, it's really about, this is just a security challenge that we're having. On top of that, as I mentioned in the beginning, pulling together a full IoT solution is a very complex task. Because it's not just a traditional infrastructure and application. You're dealing with a lot of moving parts coming from a lot of companies. As I said, the sensors, the data analytics, the protecting the data, building infrastructure at the edge. The reason why fog is so critical, and by the way, we announced the Fog consortium. Fog is a term, I don't know if you know about it. Fog was invented by Cisco. What we've done is we've realized that in order to drive Internet of Things, we need to do a lot of compute, analysis, storage of data much closer to the sensors. Because if we rely on all that data and analysis to be done in the cloud, it may be too late for some of the real-time processes that need to happen closer to the sensors. So what we said is we need to invent technologies that will provide the same cloud capabilities, but much closer to where the action is happening. This is how we are able to provide personalized data in context at the time and location of that data is being generated. And that's fog. Fog is pretty much when the clouds come down, right? That's where fog is created. That's why we called it fog.